Jagmeet Singh, Canada's cockroach, is in full panic mode. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. He is tanking in the polls, and he is pulling out every last trick out of his hat, and it's just not working. In fact, it is really much backfired. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I do want to encourage you guys to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't yet already. It does really help grow the channel. And just a gentle reminder that this is Mr. Sunshine Extra, not Mr. Sunshine, not any of the other channels. I'd really appreciate it if you guys took the time to subscribe to this channel. Without further ado, let's get into the video. You have the polls. The Conservatives are sitting at 207 projected, but we're not really focusing on them today, are we? We're focusing on the NDP. Jagmeet, 20 projected seats is the number. 70% likelihood of winning, 1% likelihood of winning the most seats, and not even odds of winning a majority or minority government. So unless there's a miracle that happens for Jagmeet, he's not going to get any form of power. Now, this is a recent press conference that did not go as planned. The NDP leader, Jagmeet Singh, did a press conference about the need for a national pharmacare program in Canada. But the woman he brought in has extended benefits. She doesn't need help with her diabetic supply. Side note, Singh goes on to change the narrative for 5 minutes. This is huge because Jagmeet Singh, this like tremendously backfired. Jagmeet Singh has been pushing this pharmacare program in Canada where old people need medical coverage. And so we have to pay billions and billions of dollars more in taxes for this program. But why this is kind of so funny and why it really took a turn for the worse for Jagmeet is, I mean, you're going to hear it from herself. She already has coverage. She doesn't need Jagmeet's program. It's so funny. He brought in the woman to nail his own coffin. Like, how dumb are you? How incompetent are you, Jagmeet? You don't even screen the person or see what they're going to say first? It's pretty embarrassing.
Now, you're retired.
Yes.
How do you pay for your supplies now? And presumably you don't have a private benefits plan.
Actually, from the company I work for.
We just come right to the mic here. You're right. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I do. I'm about one of the 4% from our company that I get coverage up until I die. And my husband, because I had more than 25 years, my husband also is covered as well. It's covered 80% for medical. And for the dental, it's just a dollar amount, which is $1,200 per person. And also for glasses is $200 every 2 years.
Now, that's really embarrassing for Jagmeet. Imagine trying to make a statement and you bring somebody up who literally debunks your entire program that you're going after, your entire campaign. Jagmeet's existence revolves around pharmacare and CEOs and lobbyists and stuff like that. Not a very good look. And I'd like to know what you guys think down below in the comments about that. It's pretty freaking embarrassing. And I think it might even hit mainstream media at some point. Next up, we have from the same press conference, but a different video. Jagmeet says the only way to solve the climate crisis in Canada is by electing an NDP government because Liberals are in bed with big oil and Conservatives want to poison kids. Wow, it's a pretty wild accusation. He says until every Canadian has a heat pump, big polluters will continue to ruin the planet. These clowns are getting more insufferable by the days by government corrupt on X. Here we go.
Will an NDP government keep the Liberals' carbon price plan to $170 per ton by 2030?
Well, what we said is on the carbon price, our position hasn't changed. We believe there's a price on pollution that should be there.
Will you keep it then? Will you keep that a carbon price plan to $170 per ton by 2030?
Well, so far what we said is that our position hasn't changed, but we are saying that the Liberals' plan is unfair, and there's elements of that plan that are very unfair. And I've outlined one specific element, which I think is glaring in how unfair it is. The Liberals think it's okay to give billions of dollars to oil and gas companies to subsidize them, particularly when they're highly profitable. They're making record profits. Why does that make any sense to continue to give them billions of dollars? and then say to working people, we don't have any money for you to support you in trying to put in place a thermal pump or a heat pump in your home. That's unfair. The Conservatives' plan is no plan. They want to allow for big polluters to pollute as much as they want. They have no such plan to say they want to reduce pollution. They're saying to Canadians, you know those big polluters that dump toxic waste in rivers? No price on that. Dump as much as you want. The big polluters that pollute our air, that pollute our land, our water, they can do whatever they want. So we should be very clear about what Poilievre is saying. He's saying pollute as much as you want, make as much profit as you want, and damage the environment, damage our planet, damage kids as much as you want. That's the Conservative plan. And people can make a choice if they think that's okay, but that is actually their plan. Pollute as much as you want. Our position has not changed, we've said. We maintain that a price on pollution is important, but I've given you a very concrete example, and I've given Canadians a concrete example of how the Liberal plan is unfair. Imagine a way for Canadians to choose a heat pump that will help them make that right choice to lower their costs, to lower their emissions, and make life more affordable. That would have a significant impact on our fight against the climate crisis. And that's what we're talking about when we talk about the unfair approach of the...
And the only way to save the planet, but more importantly to save Canada, is by voting NDP, is what Jagmeet Singh is preaching. It's insane. It feels like we're being scammed and we're being gaslit right to our faces every single day. And I, for one, am fed up. I'd like to know what you guys think down below in the comments. This is all coming from this man right here, who claimed more than $500,000 in expenses as an MP in the last 9 months of 2023, more than any other parliamentarian. Pierre Poilievre spent just $61,000 less than any other MP. These people are virtue signaling. They're gaslighting us every single day. Here's another clip where he says, does anyone remember when Singh came out and claimed there were 2,000 questions for Loblaw's CEOs? Here we go.
You mentioned that you had a conversation with one person for 15 minutes. I have 2,000 plus people that have submitted questions. Will you undertake to respond to these questions?
I feel like that's just a bunch of blank papers. I really doubt that he's printed off 2,000 questions from different people. But yeah, anyways, we have one last clip here from the NDP leader. Jagmeet Singh claimed the Freedom Convoy's goal was to overthrow democracy, or the democratically elected parliament. That's not something we should be supporting. Every time this guy opens his mouth, man, it makes the skin on all over my body just crawl. I hate it.
When we look at the convoy specifically, people can have different viewpoints, and that's healthy, and we should have that. But the convoy, if we want to be very specific, and the occupation of Ottawa, they had a very clear mandate and a very specific goal. They posted it on their website. They repeated it in a number of press conferences. Their goal was to overthrow the democratically elected parliament. And that's not something that we should be supporting. That's not something that elected officials should be supporting. To be advocating for the undemocratic overthrow of parliament is clearly wrong. And it's not something that public officials or elected officials should be supporting. And so those are deep concerns. What happened in Ottawa, to be very clear, was harassing citizens, intimidating people on the streets, causing lots of discomfort and pain for people by making noise at night, disrupting families and children, and not actually doing what a protest should do, which is to target government decisions or to target the government. This was harassment of citizens, and it was wrong. And people were hurt by it. Small businesses were hurt by it. Families were hurt by it. So again, that's not something that should be supported by elected officials because it's harmful and it was hurtful to people. It was not, as claimed, a protest against government. It was harassment of citizens. And that's not something that I think should be supported.
So what about, I don't know, off the top of my head, the thousands or the hundreds of people that are outside of Parliament every single weekend that are literally celebrating terror attacks happening around the world? It's kind of bizarre, the hypocrisy that the government has. I don't remember any overthrowing democracy as a mission statement from the Freedom Convoy. And historically speaking, it was the most peaceful protest Canada, and correct me if I'm wrong, but North America has ever seen. That's why it went so parabolically viral. But I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments about Jagmeet, about Jagmeet's concluding statements here about the Freedom Convoy. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to end this video. On your way out, I'd like to encourage you guys to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't yet already, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.